Like, I don't know.
I just got back with it.
All right. What else?
No, I'm not the.
The joke is, hey, you're normally the right.
Y'all may have heard, I don't know, I know.
Don't have a clue. I've heard that one someplace. One place I heard it was quiet. Every time. And I've heard other companies have that.
Alright, 10 o'clock. So, good morning. I would like to call the August 6th, 2025 WKU Staff Senate meeting to order. We will now call roll.
Good morning, Senator Adams.
Present.
Senator Ashby.
Here.
Senator Bailey.
Present.
Senator Bartley.
Here.
Senator Basham. Present. Senator Bryant.
Present.
Senator Coyle. Present. Sorry, Senator Henry. Senator Hess.
Present.
Senator Hopwood. Senator Hughes.
Here.
Senator Jenkins.
Present.
Senator Johnson.
Present.
Senator Jones.
Present.
Senator Hopkins.
Present.
Senator Ray.
Present.
Senator Spittler.
Present.
Chair Vanderpool, and Senator Werner.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, so our agenda and last month minutes were sent electronically in our super snazzy newsletter. Anybody have any adjustments or objection? Okay, hearing none, we'll consider them accepted. And as we start off every monthly meeting, we start off with our Christopher Ware Staff Star Awards.
Am I placed appropriately? I think I am. It's an awkward room. You don't know where to face and who to talk to. So thank you all so much for joining us today. It's my pleasure to introduce one of our most meaningful recognitions, the Christopher Ware Staff Star Award. This award was created in honor of Christopher Ware, whose dedication and passion and exceptional service have left a lasting impact on our university. The Staff Star Award is designed to celebrate those individuals who consistently go above and beyond in their roles, demonstrating outstanding commitment, teamwork, and excellence. These individuals embody the spirit of service that Chris represented, and through their hard work and dedication, they inspire all of us. This month's recipients have made remarkable contributions that have made a significant difference for our students and for our colleagues. It's with great admiration that we recognize their efforts, and we're truly grateful for the energy and the passion that they bring to their roles. We'll start today by recognizing Robert Ashley. Robert currently serves as the staff technician for the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences, and he was nominated by Dr. Joel Lenore. I would like to share what Dr. Lenore said in his nomination statement. This is from Dr. Lenore. Robert is unfailingly optimistic, working to help the engineering students complete their projects. He has a wealth of practical knowledge and skills gained during years in private practice. He's cheerful and welcoming. He keeps the process for ordering straight and in budget. We could not do any of the projects we tackle without his help. Believe me, I had to carry that load when a previous staff person left unexpectedly. He is kind to even the most difficult student, the ones who refuse to wear safety glasses, as well as seniors in a panic to finish their capstone projects. He keeps the wheels on the train. I would now like to invite Dr. Mark Cameron up to share a few words about Robert.
Thank you for having us today, and I'm very excited that Robert's being recognized. I was thinking about what I was going to say today, and I was like, he's the kind of guy that you would love to have as your neighbor or your friend, because he can do everything. He can fix it, he can order it, he knows the parts, he has the tools, he can do it. And we are blessed and seized to have him be a support for our students, for the faculty. A lot of the faculty, you know, Robert will tell you, are good with theory and math and not always good with their hands. And he fills that hole and makes our students be able to do the projects and to get things going. Wonderful resource. C's has been very blessed with great staff, and they don't always get recognized as much as they should. And Robert is well deserving of this.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cameron. I'd now like to invite Robert up to receive his award from our Staff Senate Chair, Leslie Vanderpool. Ready? Congratulations to Robert, and thank you so much to Dr. Cameron and Dr. Lenore for helping us to recognize him. Next, we would like to recognize Ellen Micheletti. Ellen currently serves as a library assistant with Access Services. She was nominated by Emily Gabriel, who I'd now like to invite to share a few words.
Thank you all for having us. I'm honored to be here to present this Staff Star Award to my colleague, Ellen Micheletti. I have known Ellen since my days as a student here at WKU. I've had the privilege of witnessing her remarkable dedication and kindness firsthand over the years. Ellen has a rare gift of making everyone seen and supported, from our newest students to our longest-serving faculty members and all the colleagues around her. She's not just a master of library resources, she's a master of kindness, patience, and true commitment to what WKU stands for. Ellen, you're truly a star, and it's a privilege for me to present this award to you.
I'd now like to invite Dr. Amanda Harden up to share her thoughts on Ellen.
It's hard for me to follow that act because Emily said absolutely everything that I would say about Ellen. Ellen's worked here since 1980, so this is her 45th year at WKU, which is amazing. And she embodies everything in Access Services that we focus on, which is customer service. She is the perfect example. When a group comes in, Ellen's the first one to jump in and say, I'll give you a tour. Let me show you what we have. She is just a wonderful example, and I'm so pleased that she's on our team and that we get to work with her daily. So, way to go.
Ellen, if you'd like to join us at the front.
Right.
I want a picture.
Okay,
Anybody else?
1, 2, 3. Got it. Congratulations to Ellen, and thank you to both Emily and to Amanda for helping us celebrate her. Last but definitely not least, we would like to recognize with the Christopher Ware Staff Star Award, Elizabeth Joyce. Elizabeth was, until very recently, with the Center for Gifted Studies, and she has since taken a position in teaching in the classroom. But we wanted to recognize all of her hard work and all the contributions she made. And I wanted to share the nomination remarks made by Dr. Tyler Clark, who nominated Elizabeth for this award. He said, Elizabeth Joyce is such a professional and supportive colleague. She brings new perspectives to our work in a conducive way that helps us move our work forward. Her attention to detail is so important as she's led editing of the Challenge magazine, our departmental magazine, and led planning efforts for our summer programming. Her kindness is unmatched as she truly cares about each individual and does her best to make experiences the best they can be for each person. So we thank Tyler for that. And I would now like to invite Dr. Julia Roberts up to say a few things about Elizabeth.
And I'm happy to do so. What a pleasure to work with Elizabeth B. Buckberry Joyce. She is a creative and collaborative colleague, a motto that could be for B, if you want something done well, ask B. Thank you so much, B, for the many ways you have made the Center for Gifted Studies outstanding. This award could not be more well-deserved. Thank you, B.
Thank you so much to Dr. Roberts, and congratulations again to all 3 of our award winners this month. I know that you all make invaluable contributions to our campus community, and we're all immensely appreciative. If you know anyone, you here today or anyone watching online, if you know anyone who ought to be recognized in this way, please feel free to nominate them. You can do that on our Staff Senate website. It's very easy to do. We know how important recognition is. So thank you for that. So this concludes the portion of our meeting on the Christopher Ware Staff Star Award. I would next like to transition to our guest speaker today. Everybody got the email. I think we sent out a campus-wide email inviting for questions for Dr. David Oliver. Dr. Oliver is the Director of Environmental Health and Safety here at WKU, and we invited the campus community to ask any questions they might have of him. And so he has been gracious enough to join us today. And so I will now invite Dr. Oliver to the front to give his presentation and answer any questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to be back in front of the group, but it's been a while. I think probably the last time was during COVID. It was on Zoom, so I haven't moved back in this room with the group for a while. But for those that don't know me, I serve as Director of Environmental Health and Safety and also as the Emergency Manager for the university. I have 9 folks that are part of my team. We cover fire and life safety, the Office of the Fire Marshal, and that's Roy Long and Justin Pedigo in those roles. We have occupational safety, workers' compensation. It's Brandon Higgins, Jim Williams. We have environmental, all the environmental regulatory that falls under Laura Hale, indoor air quality, which is Lee Watson, laboratory safety, radiation safety, Sarah Grant, and John Oglesby has a hazardous waste operation. So we have all of that encompassed within our department, as well as emergency management. Becky Dobbs has been with us since the onset of COVID. Becky does a lot of the planning around the emergency management elements, and then Jim shares some of that responsibility as well as Laura with that. So we sort of do some double team to do that. I'll go through, we received 15 responses to the survey. And there were a few of them that were sort of around the same subject, so I'll sort of put those together. Of the 15, I think I can answer 12. No, I'm joking. I can, but I'm just going to run through some of these real quick, so I'll make sure that I address those. And one of the first ones had to do with the lack of hot water. That's a facility issue. I can't do anything with that, but I will make sure that that gets followed up on. Indoor air quality is one that's there, particularly Potter Hall was called out on a couple of different ones around that. Potter's a unique building. For those that have been around, I came here in 1978 as a freshman. It was still a dorm at the time, and did not have air conditioning, I believe, in 1978. So when it was retrofitted into the office building, units were put in place. And so it is a difficult building to manage. It's sort of every little area is like its own little micro space, and hands off to the HVAC and the other guys for what they do. But we do in those older buildings, particularly this time of year with humidity, there are issues with that. What I tell folks is if you see moisture, you see water drip, put the call in because we need to get on it very quickly. And sometimes these things happen over time, they're not noticed, and then that's when we start having issues with that. And my hat's off to the DFM staff. From when I started to now, it's just heads above the difference how we handle these things. I know you've got two of the area leads in here that I work with every day, and we mobilize a lot quicker on these. We do dehumidification, those kind of things to try to help out. One of the questions that came up was, do we monitor indoor air quality? And we do. In the residence halls, we do, and in the E&G buildings, we do proactive sampling, looking for mold. We also check levels for CO2, which is in areas, if you don't have enough fresh air, you got a lot of people, CO2 levels go up. That's when you get sleepy. That's when you start. It's not per se hazardous at those levels, but it does make for a sticky work environment. So we look at monitor those things. And actually the last sampling, and I pulled Potter out along with some others, was on the 23rd of July that we got samples back. And how we do that, Lee Watson does those samples. We use a sampling pump to calibrate it. It has a sampling media that goes on it, and it pulls a regulated amount of air through it. We pull a sample in the building, and we pull a sample outside because there's mold everywhere outside. So what we do when we get those results back is we look at, okay, what kind of molds are outside, what kind of molds are inside. There shouldn't be a difference. If you got something different inside the building, then we're probably growing it in the building. And by and large, just as an example, the mold count outdoors that day was 2,837 spores that came on the sample. Potter Hall had 10 on the sample that was pulled. And that was done in the middle of the building on the 3rd floor. Now we do follow-up sampling if there are concerns, if we see visible mold. Obviously we do sampling within those rooms and follow up. Typically what we find in my 14 years, we've had 2 incidents where we've had black mold, waterborne mold. Now most mold looks gray or black, but when you hear people talk about black mold or toxic mold, it's usually Stachybotrys is the type of mold, and it comes from long-term water intrusion. They call them water indicator molds. And when you see the buildings, when I was at GM, I had buildings in Florida that had true mold problems because they would be, you'd walk in, it'd be just raining in the rooms and the drywall would be soaked and you would have these kind of things. We have seen that twice in my 14 years. A few years ago, remember we closed Minton Hall in the middle of the year. And that was through our follow-up of proactive testing as well as DFM's work. We discovered that when they renovated the building, they created these dead spaces with no airflow. And it was so widespread that the leadership team says, look, we're moving out, we're gonna renovate. So we took everything, every ceiling out, remediated it, worked on the air intakes and circulation in that building. So we do that, and we do these regular proactive testings just to look for those indicators. Because if you've got one of those black molds, it will show up. It may show up 1 spore or 2 spores, but if it shows up at all, we do a deep dive to figure out what that is. The other instance we had was also in one of the residence halls. that's no longer here. It was Barnes. And there was a water leak in the pipe chase, and it was not showing anywhere. But when we did the proactive testing, we had 2 spores of black mold. So we immediately went in. Facilities actually had to go in and cut holes in the wall to get into those chases the way they were built. All our new buildings have access, but in the old buildings, when they drywalled, it is drywall. So we had to do a major renovation on that one. So again, we stay on top of it. If you have an issue, if you have moisture in your space, put in a work order to that. When I say that, every Monday morning, we get a report that's pulled out of the maintenance system of all work orders that hit certain categories: visible mold, water leaks, any of those things. They've got a whole classification. And Lee goes through those item by item and follows up with area teams. A lot of times it's something simple. It was something they found, they cleaned it up, it's fixed. But if there's not a relative fix for it, Lee physically goes out, works with the area team to investigate it and follow up. So we changed that protocol several years ago because we just want to make sure that none of this stuff falls through the cracks. But I will say, on any indoor air quality issue, feel free to call us. Put in a ticket. If it's things like heat and cold, we can't do a lot about. And a lot of times still put the tickets in, because a lot of times it may be something down that they don't know about. But this time of year is really tough, particularly balancing some of these buildings and we've done a lot to try to improve them, but it takes time. There was an item around talking about dangerous areas due to drainage. And I'm taking that's more walkways, probably coming out of parking lots, I'm guessing, those kind of things. And they asked what to do. Again, there should be a facilities work order put in for that. If for some reason, if it's imminent danger, such as a sinkhole or a big dip, call the police and put that in through the PD, because then that gets sent to facilities and us, or you can call EH&S. But again, most of the time, grounds, Kyle Davenport that's over grounds, his team will mobilize for those kind of things and do a temporary fix till we can get a contractor in, or barricaded, or whatever the case may be. But there shouldn't be something like that goes on and on. If it's in a walkway or those areas, let us know. We'll try to address it. There was an issue around mention about emergency lighting and it taking like a year to get parts for those. I don't know the history of that, but I will tell you, in the area, guys, if we have something around emergency system, emergency lighting, we're going to do what we have to do to get that back up and operational. If there's something like that you don't feel like is getting addressed, feel free to put that call in the H&S or follow up with facilities. We want to make sure that these things don't linger if it's something in an emergency lighting system. Again, we've done a lot of lighting upgrades on campus. We do very periodic inspections. Facility does. We do night walks and drives to make sure all the lighting is working, because that is a big security issue of this campus. PD is in tune to that. If they see areas that are not lit, then they'll put work orders in and we'll get those done. Sometimes it's us, sometimes it's a city, but we have a direct line to them, to BGMU. If it's a city street light, they've been very responsive with us to get that fixed. But again, if you need to elevate that up, if it's an area where we got a lot of lighting out, or it's a dark area where people are walking, we want to get it fixed. And very, very critical. The question was asked if there's required trainings for things like fire extinguishers, AEDs. And the answer is, in the hall directors and the RAs are required to have training on fire extinguishers and basic emergency procedures. But it is available to any group that wants it. They're within the College of Health and Human Services. They have a CPR training group, training center is one source, or we can do it out of our department. If a group wants CPR, AED, Narcan, stop the bleed, any of those things, just put a call in. Jim Williams leads that for us. Jim was the field supervisor for Med Center EMS. He was with them for about 35 years. He's a paramedic and a nurse. He's very well qualified to do that training. I'm also an instructor. We've got several, and we will come out and do that for you. Or the CPR center can do CPR, AED, stop the bleed as well. So we got a couple different sources. We will definitely make that available. The question was asked if there's an anonymous line to report health and safety issues. Well, there's not an anonymous line, but I will tell you from my end, I want the names so I know who to go back to ask questions, but we keep those confidential. It's not something that we run up the flagpole and say, hey, so-and-so sent a complaint. There are mechanics that the police department has an anonymous tip line that you can call if it's really something you just don't feel comfortable putting your name on. But I would encourage you, if it's around a safety issue on our website, there's a tab. Just put the information in. We'll follow up on it and assure you that again we will deal with that in a professional manner with that. There was a question around preparing for active shooter cases. There was a couple of questions around that. One dealt with training, and we have done training over time between our department and police. We both do that same training. There is a tab on our website where you can request it for a group. There's also, you can reach out to the police to make the request. You'll get the same training. We work together on it. I was talking to the chief this morning. One of the things we have planned for this fall, we don't have a date yet, is we're going to do an open session in an auditorium and invite faculty and staff that want to come to that. But if your group, your team wants to have a session where we come and do that training, just make the request. We'll make it happen. The other question came up about locks on classroom doors. And there are all kinds of these adjunctive locks that are out in the media. And the question was that some people don't have keys. You can request keys through your department if you're a teacher to lock those doors. Back when I started here, it was common practice. If you weren't in class, by about 2 minutes after that door was locked, and some professors, you weren't getting in. I didn't like it at the time because I was habitually late, but at the same time, it there. But what we tell people is, even if you got that door locked, you hear shots, if a call goes out for an active shooter in the building you're in, barricade the door. Mobilize whoever's there, get whatever you can from the fact of chairs and tables, get in front of the door. Because those locks will fail easily through either a gunshot or somebody forcing them, but they can't get through a barricaded area. And I don't know if you saw the incident in New York last week in that high rise, but there were pictures of groups that had barricaded those doors. You're not getting through that. And so if there's a specific incident where you feel that there is a vulnerability with the door, reach out to the police department or us. We'll be glad to try to work with you. But that's generally, when we teach, that's one of the things we teach. Because in this room, if we heard shots right now, between all of us, we could have both these doors barricaded in 20 seconds, very, very handily. And again, if somebody's on a mission like that, if they hit that barricade, they're not going to take the time to try to get through it. They're going to move on. And that's one of the best deterrents historically. Somebody asked about the updated emergency plan. I apologize for that. On our website, it was still showing a 2020 version, which we updated every year. The president actually signed the 2025 yesterday. And there's been very minute changes in it over time. We did add a hazard mitigation to that. That 2025 will be posted probably by the first of the week on the website, so it will be updated. But no, we try to keep that as current. I apologize for that, still having that moniker out there. And the last question was around text messaging for folks with international phones. And I did the research on that. Our systems do not allow us to put a country code in. So what I advise people on that, if there are folks that have international phones, reach out to the carriers, because I think there are ways to do local SIMs in those and others that would give you the ability to have a local number. But unfortunately, as of now, we just switched systems actually from Rave to Everbridge, which has a lot of broader features, but it still does not have that capability to put in the calling international free codes in those. So that, and again, if somebody has a specific concern around that, if they can reach out to us, we'll be glad to try to work with them on it. That was the question was sent in. I'll open it up to any other questions that you all might have. Quiet group. That's unusual.
What percent of the staff would you say has taken the safety trainings?
The active shooter training?
No, the CPR.
Oh, we probably do 15 or 20 folks a month. It's not a lot. But people get it through other means a lot of times. I know people whose kids are in scouting or other things that have done it. We have groups that reach out. You know, Jim does training just about every week, you know, with some group. But it's definitely available. I do encourage people to do that. We have in every building, we have an AED cabinet, at least one, which has an AED. It also has a stop the bleed kit, and it has Narcan across the whole campus. And again, Narcan, for those who aren't familiar with it, with opioid overdoses, it's a lifesaver. And we were able to put that in. We got a donation through the state. The student government bought some originally for the fraternities and residence halls. We installed those. And then the state had a grant available we were able to get to put in every building. And Jim maintains those to make sure they're up to date. But we have it in all our med bags for our EMTs at work events. It's just, it's something anymore that you just don't know when you might encounter somebody. And it is definitely a lifesaver. And I haven't seen the name of it yet. I know there's a new drug. Fentanyl has been one of the biggest things that coming in from China, primarily in South America. And we had a spate here about 2 years ago. Over a very short period of time, we had over 20 overdoses in Warren County from it, because people that use cocaine or other things, you know, again, it's not something you get from the pharmacy. It's not a measured dose. And when you add the fentanyl in it, depending on the strength of that fentanyl, a few grains can make that the difference between, well, that's a really good high to I'm gone, and very short order. So a lot of times people, it's generally accidental. They don't know that they're taking that overdose. So that's why we've really focused. I will say to this date, we have not had a use of Narcan since we've had it in the residence halls. And I don't know of any in the Greek housing off campus, but I know on campus we've not had to replace any. So that tells me it's not been used. I know our police carry it. They've carried it for a period of time. I know the city police carry it. And I know the city police have used it a lot. Sheriff's Department uses it a lot because of the first responders to a lot of these cases. And so that's why we think it's important to have it available. So, any other questions?
Is there a cost associated with like departmental training for ADAs?
Generally, the basic training is not a cost. The cards that we issue, there's a minimal charge on that. We generally ask the department to pick that up, but it's not a showstopper if they can't. You know, we will still do the training, make it available. I keep a stock of cards, and I can't remember what the cost is, but it's like $15 or something. But that's the issue but there is no cost for the basic training. We do that. Again, we'll do, and depending on the group, I know we had one group that I think he did the daycare group, maybe, you know, they did the infant, the other pieces, so we can add that on. Generally, we do adult CPR, but we could do child and infant if people want that. You know, we can add that in. And in addition, we can do the basic first aid. We can do, you know, the Narcan, do the stop the bleed. Stop the bleed is a less than an hour course. I encourage people to do that, because if somebody's, and it doesn't have to be from violence. It could be on the farm. It could be anywhere else. Knowing how to apply a tourniquet, knowing how to stop that, it can definitely save a life. And it's something that, being an EMT, since I did my EMT here in 1980, so that dates you on how, you know, I talked to some of the near kids and their numbers are like 100,000. Mine's 9,992 was my certification number. And I know who had 1, 2, and 3. So that tells you how old I am. But I encourage people to get that training, because you never know when you might need it. You never know when you could potentially save a life with it. It really, it definitely can make a difference. Yes, sir.
Do the academic buildings still have that group that's like, it was part of the BEEP or the building emergency plan, where there's a coordinator, maybe the building coordinator, and then they might have a group for each floor, like a person from each floor that's their dedicated team. So,
well, we basically at one time they had built this really intricate system to that point. And with all the shuffle and changes, there was no way to really maintain it. There were still building coordinators that facility have connection to that handle keys and access and those kind of things. We work through them, But basically what we have told folks is we try to we're updating all of the postings for the evacuation routes. We try to make it so that everybody they don't have to wait for somebody. Because again, particularly like with our summer schedule where you've got split schedules, you don't know who's going to be off, whatever. When I was at GM, we had a director that was just insistent on having those teams. And he trained his folks. He said, well, you wait for so-and-so and they'll have a yellow hat on and you follow them out the door. And I went over to there one day to do a safety audit and so-and-so was on vacation. And I asked a lady, what are you gonna do? Well, I'm gonna wait for so-and-so. And I said, she's gonna be back a week from Monday. You know, everybody should be able to escape. We ask people, obviously, if somebody has disabilities or other issues, to help those with the buddy system. And if there's those kinds of situations, a lot of times we'll get a call from the Disability Services Group to help work through those, and we'll be glad to, obviously, to make sure that we got that covered, because I don't want anybody to feel like that, you know, that they're left out or don't know what to do. So we're always happy to do that. But to your point, Kent, there's not that formal thing in every building, as there were. But again, we've got all the exits plainly marked. We maintain the exit signs, make sure those are open and functional. Again, it's one of those that everybody should understand where to go and what to do in an emergency. Any other questions? All right. Well,
Thank you so much for your time and
Oh, no
information.
problem. Glad to be here. Again, anytime something comes up, I know Ben and Herb have my number, and it's published, so they got me on speed dial. So if you got a question, if you want any of us to come back for another meeting, be happy to do it. Again, we're excited to get the semester underway. I had to smile when the president said that the other day when we meet with it. I said, yeah, I'm ready, boss. It's one of those things. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's good feeling. That's what we're here for, and glad to do it. So any questions? Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, so next we have our officer committee reports. So Jennifer Hammond is not here. Communication, anything? No report. Treasurer?
I will give you my numbers. Starting balance for our E and G index, $3,700 for the rollover. However, the invoices that we posted in June to use up last year's funds actually posted to July. And so it came out of this year's funds instead of last year's. Very frustrating, but it's fine. So our ending balance is $2,560.43. I will say that that's totally fine. Everything we did last year, the certificates, meet and greet, all those things, well under what we have left for our budget. We just won't be able to purchase those speaker gifts, but that's okay because we've already done that, right? So we're okay. I didn't want anybody to panic. I was very frustrated, but that's a me problem. So we're okay. Our staff Senate Excellence Fund, starting balance $2,290.12, additions of $15, ending balance $2,305.12. Book Scholarship Fund, starting balance $1,984.84, additions of $15. Foundation runs behind, so I don't have the update after the spring scholarships have come out, so it's still just an addition of $15 for an ending balance of $1,999.84. However, $200 will be coming out of that eventually, so it's really $1,799. But rolling forward, hopefully, as we get more in the process of being more consistent with our scholarship funds, it'll come out in a more timely fashion. That's just the state of being in it. Thank you.
All right, technology, Kent?
No report on the technology side. Do you want me to report on the awards?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Let's hear something.
We did want to announce about the book scholarship. So it is open for submission. So if you're a staff member and you're enrolled in the fall semester for a class, we'd encourage you to apply for the book scholarship. The deadline is August 17th. So the information is on the Staff Senate website. which is wku.edu/staff senate. And then you can click on book scholarship for that information. And also the button to apply is there. So you apply on the website and submit that. We've gotten one application so far, but we encourage others to apply. Again, deadline's August 17th. If you have questions, you can email the sc.scholarship@list.wku.edu or staff senate, and we'll get your questions answered. And also that does run on donations. You can also donate on that website if you want to support our fellow staff members in their educational endeavors. So just wanted to announce that. We'll send an email with the details as well to the staff, so they'll have that.
Thank you so much. All right, parliamentarian.
Other than the voted constitutional amendments were made with the help of Senator Ray and Senator Jenkins. Thank you.
All right, secretary.
No official report. The onboard standing committee had our first meeting this morning. We are looking at ways to like revamp the mentorship program because we have had low interest in mentors for our mentees that reach out. So if you have any ideas or anything else that's been percolating in your brains about things that we could do to help make the onboarding experience for our new WKU staff the best, experience possible, reach out to me. I'd be happy to hear any ideas and we'll bring them to the committee and then the committee will bring any ideas to the Senate. Okay.
Thank you so much. Vice Chair.
The Campus Conversations Committee had our first meeting this morning. And I think that we've got some good options for people to reach out to come and speak to Staff Senate over the course of the remainder of the term. If anybody though, even if you're not on the committee, if anybody has any suggestions or thinks I'd like to hear from this office, this person, or you know anybody who wants to speak, feel free to reach out and let me know. We'll see if we can get it worked out.
Me? I don't think so. Oh. Everybody's busy at work. This is great. All right, we're moving fast. Next is our old business. So we have our workplace safety ad hoc committee motion that you had presented, and good. Yeah, okay.
I also tabled it. Is there any question about it? Any discussion on the topic? Do we feel like it's an important thing to do?
Mine is a question, not at all an objection or even a concern, just a question. As I understood the motion is to form a committee that would explore what a full-time committee would do. Is that right?
Correct.
So what kind of ideas are there that a full-time committee would do? I know this is before the committee even has its work, but just in general.
Report on campus safety. It's something to know. How well are we making this university safe? How safe is this university? Something everybody wants to. Working with David Oliver to make sure that not only are the plans out there, but that the employees know what the plans are. That sort of thing. How do we encourage people to take the training that they have? What is what kind of goals can we set? How can we reach them? That sort of thing.
How long do you think you need to assess whether or not we need the full committee?
The ad hoc committee shouldn't take long, honestly. That I don't see. Less than 6 months. Although, I mean, it should take less than 6 months to decide, hey, if we do this, this is what we want it to look like. So the essence of the whole thing is let's get together and decide if this is something we want to do and what we want to do with it. That's the essence of the motion.
I think since he had already made the motion, somebody correct me on my Robert's rules, but I think that now you can just call for a vote because it was already seconded in the previous.
For an ad hoc, or should we just do an ad hoc committee? Is anybody up on their?
I don't think there's anything wrong with voting on it, but I also don't think there's anything wrong with the chair just appointing an ad hoc. Right.
Chair has the authority to appoint an ad hoc.
But I feel like if you thought it was, I don't think it is, but if you thought it was a contentious issue and you wanted to have health Senate behind it, you could have a vote, but you could just do it if you wanted to.
If it's this exploratory committee, there shouldn't be any contention.
No
Right,
one, no one has
exactly.
voiced any objection.
Yeah.
Right, okay. I guess my curiosity, like that, if the ad hoc committee is formed, we're just looking for people that are interested in serving on this ad hoc committee?
You would
Okay.
just appoint.
Okay, okay. Okay, so we're just going to say, we're going to have an exploratory ad hoc committee?
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
Good, okay, all right. And then, do we want to know if any, like, is anybody interested in exploring this? Do we discuss this now? Do we save this for later?
How many members would you want?
I've written down 5. at least.
Yeah, you've written.
Okay, 5, okay. Do we have 5 safety eagers?
I'll serve.
Okay, we got 1? Okay, we got 2. So we need 3 more. Look at that. Anyone, okay, 3, yay. Oh, what you take, all right, good job.
Did my job.
I know, 2 more, 2 more.
Put me on there.
Kit, all right, and her, all right, yay, we got our 5, okay. So do we have to do anything else? Okay,
Yes. I guess they can get together and set up a meeting and report back.
I say we just, probably appoint Kevin to be the chair of that committee to. What?
You had the idea. Now you're in charge. That's how that works.
she said 6 months.
Keep my mouth shut.
Do you want to report?
Yeah,
6 months, or do you want to
January.
report earlier?
There.
They want to give you a sort of a target goal. Right.
Oh, I just love deadlines. I love the whooshing sound they make as they fly by. Yeah, give us 6 months.
So at our December meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
December, yeah, pick a day.
Okay, well,
Pick a day.
or doesn't matter, December, January's kind of the same.
Yeah.
Remember,
January.
we discussed whether we actually
Yeah,
want
we
to
haven't
do
decided
it
whether we're gonna
January.
have a
Yeah.
January meeting or not.
Sure.
Should
All right,
discuss
that's what I
that.
say.
Yeah,
December.
and that way, if we decide we do want to have the committee, we might be able to put it in place for the spring semester.
All right, so you're gonna report at the December meeting. Good?
Sounds good.
Okay, all right, okay, all right. So next, do we have any new business?
Well, the events committee, we were talking about, our upcoming meet and greet. We need to, I know that if November feels far away, that's actually only 3 or 4 meetings away. So we need to go ahead and pick a date, start advertising it so people know to come, contact HR, all that, and, figure out where we want to have it. Like, we need to go ahead and start planning it now. So if anybody, I know we briefly mentioned November, but it would definitely need to be in the first part of November because of Thanksgiving. So if anybody has any thoughts about when they feel would the best time for that be, now is your time to speak. I'm pulling up my account.
I know, everybody's gonna.
Thanksgiving is the week of the 24th.
Were we thinking that we wanted to do night class again?
I think night class worked out really well. It's pretty centralized. Everybody knows where DSU is, right? They just have to find the night class, which was a little tricky for some people, me included the first time I went there. But it's, the time we had, it also worked out really well because it ended around 11:30, so just went to lunch. So that also worked out. Especially because we were giving food passes as part of the award. So I think having a night class is fine. It only they charged us $40. That's fine. I think that's perfect. That's our discount. So I think that's perfectly reasonable. And the last time having it in the morning, we did like fruit and other things that seemed to go over really well. I'm fine with keeping all of that the same as well. Just really need to pick a date. And I guess I need to work on the
It
event
has to be
thing.
something pumpkin since it's Thanksgiving.
Oh, yes. I completely agree. We'll have some pumpkin cheesecake. Or croissants.
What if we done it the Wednesday of the meeting?
Oh, that was gonna be kind of what I was thinking, that early in the month honestly works out really well. To November,
It's Tuesday.
so that's what, the fifth?
Yes.
We have staff senate at 10. How would you wanna work having our staff senate meeting if we're gonna be doing it in the morning? At the same time?
Just keep it light.
We have had
Do
17
the-
minutes.
Do what?
No guest speakers, right? Like that would be the focus.
Do the Christopher Ware Staff Star Award and then hand out your,
Could we?
your,
Meeting.
your service
Will we have
awards.
to meet and greet in place of a meeting? Or the
Yeah,
meeting
can we
is-
give the staff star award at the meet and greet? And like, that would be our meeting.
And do it with your service awards as well.
That can be an official meeting. In fact, having an official meeting can help us meet our goal of having increased attendance.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's,
Well, I think we offer the Zoom option as just an option. It's not written in our bylaws that we have to have that,
Mhm.
right? We don't have to be streaming. Unless somebody remembers it differently.
The only thing I could think of is if the live stream is there for like record, like public records, that'd be the only thing I could think of if we didn't have it.
I feel like our only mandatory record keeping is the minutes, probably.
I like the recording when it,
Sure.
recording the, when I'm like filling them out. Just record.
I believe you can go to AV Services and check out a camera and the camera can be set up.
yeah.
In that class, I don't know if there's any cameras in that class.
Yeah, I could figure out a way to at least record it or do the live stream. That'd be fun. It may not be the best quality.
I mean, we don't have to. If it's a short meeting, then I don't, my
Right,
brain doesn't have lots
I
of
think,
things to
yeah.
remember.
May not have things.
So do we like the idea of having our meeting on November 5th?
Yeah.
At DSU, night class?
Yeah.
And a meet and greet with snacks? Okay.
I'll rent the room for the whole morning, so even if we decide to do staff senate separately, but before, we can do that. And that gives us plenty of time to do everything we need to do. But I'll go ahead and make that reservation. And forward, we'll get the list from HR, I'll work on the certificates, all those other things.
I have a list.
Excellent.
Well, take a look. The list that was given to me, if not, then I know who to contact to get
An
an
updated
updated list. Yeah. Okay, all right. So any other new business? Just taking care of.
Will the chair be taking care of inviting president and all that to the meet and greet?
He did come last time.
Well, you
I
can
can
mention it in your meeting. You can invite him in your your one-on-one
Next
with
time
him.
you go,
Okay, all right, sure.
send him.
Or
an
him, yeah.
Is it?
You should probably invite the provost. Yeah, Susan.
I mean,
Yes.
we'll send out.
Special difference.
Anything else? Any other thoughts like this? Okay, any public comment? Question on public? Okay, announcements and notable events. Speaking of the president, he is going to speak next month on Tuesday, September 2nd, for our monthly staff senate meeting, and we're gonna be back at DSU.
Yep.
We have a call for questions for the president. They were in your snazzy newsletter. If you clicked on the link, opened it up. Deanna works hard on that. It looks fabulous, but there is a link there that if you want to submit some questions for President Cavoni, you could go to there and submit it. And yes, and we'll have a separate email, but the newsletter's snazzy.
As Kent mentioned, the book scholarship applications are open through August 17th. We hope, our goal is to have the staff engagement survey towards the end of August. We will promote that out. And just a reminder that when we send out that staff engagement survey, we really want feedback from staff. It is totally anonymous. I know that people think it's not. We have, like, we never receive the results. So like nobody in this room touches the results. So there's no way to connect a person to the answer. So when we get the results, it is totally legitimately anonymous. So we encourage everybody to give us feedback and give us, to what we're looking for. We want to better serve the campus community, and we don't know how to serve if we don't give some ideas and some feedback. So any other announcements or anything that else anybody else could go? Okay, all right. Then what do we close our meeting? Make a motion to close? Okay. Adjourn. Okay.